If you feel behind in life, listen to this. You're racing toward a finish line that doesn't exist. Everyone around you seems to be winning at something you didn't even know was a competition. They're married, you're single. They're promoted, you're stuck. They're buying houses, you're barely paying rent. And somewhere along the way, you started believing that life has a schedule, a universal timeline you're supposed to follow. And because you're not on it, you must be failing. But here's the truth nobody tells you. There is no timeline. There never was. The race you're losing, you invented it. And the moment you stop running towards someone else's finish line and start building your own path, everything changes. Now, I need you to understand why this video matters. This isn't going to be another pep talk telling you you're actually ahead, or you're right on time, or everything happens for a reason. This video will dismantle the lie that you're behind. Not by convincing you you're secretly ahead, but by showing you the entire concept of behind is a toxic illusion created by comparison, societal timelines, and the myth of linear progress. If you've been paralyzed by the feeling that everyone else figured it out and you're still lost, this will give you something better than motivation. It'll give you perspective. You'll see why your journey doesn't need to look like anyone else's to be valid, valuable, and worth continuing. So let me tell you a story. Rachel is 38 years old, single, renting a one-bedroom apartment in a city where everyone she knows seems to own property. She's working a job she doesn't hate but doesn't love. It pays the bills, but it doesn't light her up. And according to every metric society gives us, Rachel is behind, way behind. No husband, no kids, no house with a white picket fence, no corner office, no impressive title on LinkedIn that makes people say, wow, she's really made it. Her younger sister is married with 3 kids, living in this beautiful suburban home with a backyard and a golden retriever and family portraits on the wall. Her college friends are posting vacation photos from places Rachel can't afford to visit. Bali, Greece, Japan, places that require the kind of financial stability she doesn't have. Her cousin just made partner at a law firm. Her former coworker just launched a startup that got venture capital funding. And Rachel? Rachel was waking up every morning feeling like she missed the bus. Like everyone got a manual for life and hers got lost in the mail. Like there was a race everyone else knew about and she showed up 3 hours late still tying her shoes. She scrolls through social media and it's like drowning. Every post is evidence of her failure. Every announcement, engagement, promotion, baby, house is a reminder that time is passing and she's standing still. She deletes the apps, tells herself she's done with them, and then re-downloads them the next day because what else is she going to do at 2 a.m. when she can't sleep because her mind is screaming at her that she's wasted her life? The cycle repeats over and over. She goes to therapy and talks about feeling behind. Her therapist, this kind woman with gentle eyes, asks her a simple question. Behind what? And Rachel can't answer. She just knows. Deep in her bones, everyone else is further along. Everyone else has their life together. Everyone else figured it out. And she's still here, still stuck, still failing at the game everyone else is winning. She starts avoiding social gatherings because the questions hurt. Are you seeing anyone? What are you up to these days? Any big plans? She has nothing impressive to report, nothing that fits the narrative of success. So she makes excuses, says she's busy, sick, tired, anything to avoid the shame of admitting, I'm 38 and I don't have anything to show for it. I'm 38 and I'm still figuring it out. I'm 38 and according to the checklist, I was supposed to be done by now. One night, she's lying in bed doing her nightly ritual of self-torture, scrolling through Instagram, and she sees a post. An old high school acquaintance she barely remembers. Someone she probably spoke to twice in 4 years. The post says, after 3 failed businesses, 2 bankruptcies, and a divorce, I'm finally starting to figure it out. If you feel behind, remember there is no behind. There's only your path. And something in Rachel cracks open, not in a broken way, in a breaking through way, like light coming through a window she didn't know was there. The next day, Rachel does something she hasn't done in years. She reaches out. She messages this woman, let's call her Diane, and asks if they can talk. Just talk. She doesn't even know what she wants to say. She just knows she needs to hear more. And Diane says yes. They meet for coffee at this little cafe downtown. And Rachel sits across from this woman who seems so calm, so at peace, and she doesn't know how to start. So she just says it, the truth. I feel so behind. I see your post and I want to believe it, but I'm 38 and I have nothing." Diane looks at her with this expression that's not pity, it's recognition, like she's seeing herself in Rachel. And she asks, "What do you think you're supposed to have?" And Rachel lists it, the checklist, the timeline: marriage, kids, career success, financial stability, a home, the things everyone else has, the things that prove you're a real adult, that you're winning at life. And Diane asks another question, one that will change everything. Do you actually want those things? Or do you just think you should want them? And Rachel stops because no one has ever asked her that. She's been so busy chasing what she thought she was supposed to have, she never asked if she wanted it. She sits there with her coffee getting cold, and she thinks about it, really thinks about it. Marriage? Maybe. She doesn't know. She's never been in love in a way that made marriage feel inevitable. Kids? She's not sure. She likes kids. But does she want to be a mother? Or does she just think she should want to be a mother because that's what women do? The high-powered career? It never actually appealed to her. She took this job because it was stable, because it made sense, not because it was her calling. The house? She actually likes the freedom of renting, likes being able to move if she wants to. She's been torturing herself over a checklist she didn't even write. Diane leans forward and says, "I spent my 20s and 30s trying to build what I thought success looked like. Got married at 25 because that's what you do. Had the wedding, bought the house, started businesses because I thought that's what ambitious people do. And my life looked beautiful on paper. Everyone thought I had it all figured out. But I was miserable, absolutely miserable. I was living someone else's dream and calling it my life. Everything collapsed when I was 41. The marriage ended, the businesses failed, I lost the house, and I thought it was the end of my life. But it was actually the beginning, because it forced me to ask, what do I actually want? Not what society wants for me, not what would impress people, not what would make my parents proud. What do I want?" And she tells Rachel about starting her first real business at 43. Not the one she started because she thought she should, the one she started because she couldn't not start it. About learning skills she'd never tried because she thought it was too late. About building a life that didn't fit any template but fit her. About realizing that timelines are arbitrary social constructs designed to make everyone feel inadequate. So they'll keep consuming, keep comparing, keep chasing some imaginary version of success that doesn't actually exist.
You're not behind, Diane says. You're just on a different path. And the only person qualified to judge whether your path is right is you. Not your family, not your friends, not society. Not the voices in your head that sound like every disappointed adult you've ever encountered. You. So stop asking, am I behind? Start asking, where am I going? And is this direction true to me? Because you can spend the next 40 years racing towards someone else's finish line and win and still feel empty. Or you can spend them building something that's actually yours. Rachel leaves that coffee shop and nothing external has changed. She's still 38, still single, still renting, still working the same job. But internally, everything is different. She's been measuring herself against a ruler she didn't choose, racing toward a finish line she didn't set, competing in a game she never agreed to play. And now for the first time she realizes she can choose her own destination. She can define her own success. She can build a life that's true to her, not impressive to others. 6 months later, Rachel's life looks different. Not in the ways you'd expect. She hasn't suddenly gotten married or bought a house or gotten promoted. But she's enrolled in a creative writing course, something she always wanted to try but thought she was too old for. Thought she'd missed her window. But she's there. 43-year-old man sitting next to her who just started writing his first novel. 52-year-old woman on her other side who's finally pursuing the passion she buried for 30 years. And Rachel realizes she's not alone. She's not the only one who thought it was too late. She started a blog. Nothing fancy, no monetization strategy, no plan to become an influencer. Just writing, just creating, just doing something that makes her feel alive instead of adequate. She's made peace with being single. Not in a defeated way, like, I guess this is my life now, but in an empowered way. She's not waiting for someone to complete her. She's building a complete life, and if someone fits into it, wonderful. If not, she's whole anyway. She stops scrolling through social media, comparing her insides to everyone else's outsides. She checks in occasionally, wishes people well, logs off. She goes to her sister's perfect house, and instead of feeling like a failure, she enjoys her nieces and nephews without the soundtrack of shame. She stopped measuring herself against people who are running completely different races toward completely different destinations. And the most surprising thing, she started noticing other people who feel behind, the people who are drowning in comparison just like she was. And she finds herself saying the thing Diane said to her. You're not behind. You're just on your path. And watching their faces change the way hers did. So what actually changed for Rachel? Let me break it down. First truth, there is no universal timeline. Society creates arbitrary milestones. Graduate by 22, married by 28, kids by 32, house by 35. But these are social constructs, not natural laws. Your grandmother married at 19, your mother at 35, your best friend at 42. Which one is right? None? All? It's arbitrary. The only timeline that matters is yours, and it's being written in real time, not predetermined by culture. Second truth. Comparison is measuring apples against imaginary oranges. You're comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. You're behind the scenes to their highlight reel. Your full story to their edited snippet. It's not just unfair, it's impossible. You don't know their starting point, their struggles, their privileges, their pain, their path. You're seeing the result without the process and judging yourself for not having what they have. But you don't know what they gave up to get it, what they sacrificed, what they lost. Comparison isn't just the thief of joy, it's the creator of false inadequacy. Third truth, behind is a story you're telling yourself. Feeling behind isn't a fact about your life. It's an interpretation, a narrative, a lens. And lenses can be changed. You're not objectively behind any more than you're objectively ahead. You're just here, now, with what you have. And every moment you spend feeling behind is a moment not spent building forward. The story you tell yourself about your life becomes your life. So tell a different story. Fourth truth, your value isn't measured in milestones. You are not more valuable with a ring, a degree, a title, a house, or a number in your bank account. Your worth is inherent. It was there at birth and it'll be there at death. Achievements are beautiful expressions of being alive, but they're not requirements for being worthy of life. You don't earn your worth. You have it. Period. So how do you actually stop feeling behind? First, practice the comparison detox. For 1 week, eliminate all comparison triggers. Delete social media apps. Unsubscribe from highlight reel newsletters. Stop asking friends about their achievements. Not forever, just long enough to hear your own voice again. Notice what rises in the silence. What do you actually want when no one else's success is drowning out your desires? Second practice, redefine your finish line. Write down what success means to you. Not what it means to your parents, society, or Instagram. You. What does a meaningful life look like? Maybe it's creating art. Maybe it's deep relationships. Maybe it's freedom. Maybe it's service. Define it clearly. Then measure your progress against that, not against someone else's completely different destination. Third practice, the gratitude reframe. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I'm behind because I don't have X, reframe it. I'm exactly where I need to be to learn why. Don't have a relationship? You're learning independence. Don't have the career? You're gathering experiences that will inform your real calling. This isn't toxic positivity, it's perspective. Every behind is actually preparation. Fourth practice, celebrate different timelines. Actively look for and celebrate examples of people who succeeded late. Research them, read their stories. Colonel Sanders was 62 when he franchised KFC. Vera Wang entered fashion at 40. Julia Child published her first cookbook at 50. Laura Ingalls Wilder was 64. Your timeline isn't wrong. It's just yours. You came here feeling behind, and I hope you're leaving with something more valuable than reassurance. I hope you're leaving with clarity. The clarity that behind is a story, a comparison, a measurement against someone else's completely different life. And it's a story you can stop telling. Rachel wasn't behind. She was on her path. You're not behind. You're on yours. And your path doesn't need to look like anyone else's to be valid, valuable, and worth walking. Here's your truth. Say it with me. I am not behind. I am exactly where I need to be to become who I'm meant to be. Say it again. My timeline is mine, and it's unfolding perfectly. One more time. I release comparison. I claim my path. If this gave you relief, if something inside you unclenched even a little bit, hit the like button. Not for me, for you. As a marker. As a moment where you decided to stop measuring yourself against rulers you didn't choose. Comment and tell me what milestone were you chasing that isn't actually yours. Make it real. Name it, release it. And subscribe if you need more reminders that your journey is enough. Exactly as it is, right now. You're not behind. You never were. You're just becoming. And becoming doesn't have a deadline.